Hey guys, and welcome to the Colorado Rockies franchise, second franchise in MLB here on this channel. If you guys are coming back from the Montreal franchise, I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If this video gets to, let's say 15 likes, I'll put that next one up even faster. So this is just an introduction. We'll go over the roster. It ain't pretty. It really ain't great. We'll go over the roster, the lineup, and the pitching rotation. I plan to do with this series, by the way, at least 2 months per gameplay. In the Expos franchise, we did about 4 games an episode, and each episode was about 1 month long. I think I'm still going to do the 4 games an episode, but keep it at 2 months because this is going to be a rebuild. This is going to be probably a tougher rebuild, too. You guys will see when we go through this roster. The Rockies really don't have shit. We're going to have to trade Nolan Arenado at some point. We're not going to trade him like first episode, and we'll play some games with him. Either trade him at the deadline or after year 1. We'll see. We'll go through it, though. We'll talk about it. But we're definitely going to have to trade some big guys for some prospects because we have absolutely nobody. Let's go through the roster real quick. So our starting pitchers, we got German Marquez, Jon Gray, Kyle Freeland, Jeff Hoffman, and Antonio Senzatella, who used to be decent. I mean, all these guys used to be decent at one point. They're pretty trash. Kyle Freeland's young, still got a lot of potential. I mean, Jon Gray's not bad. Neither is German Marquez. They got potential there. They still have Ubaldo Jimenez. Jesus. Anyway, the bright spot here is Ryan Rollison. He is the best prospect we have in general besides Brendan Rodgers. But he's the only bright spot in this starting pitcher rotation. Ryan Rollison, he's 22, throws left-handed. So expect to see him in the near future. Our bullpen is not great either. We have a lot of guys locked up for a while. Scott Oberg is our best reliever. We got him for another couple years. Yeah, this year and 2 more years after. We got Carlos Estevez. He's been on the Rockies forever, it feels like. Only since 2016, but it feels like a lot longer. James Pazos, Yaro Diaz, Zach Ruska, a couple other guys. Jake McGee, who's making like $9 million this year, some crazy amount. Wade Davis, what happened to this guy? He turned into shit real quick. 66 overall. Look at the money he's making. $17.33 million. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, we got to get him out of there. Our catchers are not great. This Dom Nunez guy, at least he's young. At least he has a decent potential. He's just going to be our everyday catcher. Tony Walters is going to back up, platoon in here and there. Maybe DH for the pitcher every once in a while. Pinch hit for the pitcher every once in a while. We got 2 solid first basemen. Daniel Murphy's only got 1 year left. And Ryan McMahon, who is not terrible. He's not great. It doesn't have the best potential, but he's pretty good. We also got this guy, Michael Toglia. In the Expos franchise, he ended up being on the Houston Astros, and he turned out pretty good. So hopefully he'll do the same for us. His stats don't look bad. He's only 21, 63 overall. So we got something to look forward to there in first base as well. And with Ryan McMahon, I have high hopes for him. He's going to platoon. He's actually going to play against lefty. He bats lefty, but he's going to play against lefties. If you look up there, it's 75 power against lefties. So he'll play against lefties. Daniel Murphy will play against righties to start the season. Probably trade Murphy at some point. Try and get like a decent prospect for him at least. Like maybe see potential guy. Second baseman. This guy is, only bright spot of the future as well. 22, 71A potential is going to be our everyday second baseman, Brendan Rodgers. He should be turned into something special here. He'll be a big part of this franchise, I'm sure. Garrett Hampson, probably not going to get a lot of game time in at second base. If we ever get rid of Trevor Story or Nolan, we might move Brendan Rodgers around in the infield or him around because he can play anywhere. He can play the outfield and the infield pretty much. So we can always move him around if needed. Who we got next? Let's go to the third base, Nolan Arenado, of course. It's Nolan. You can't say anything bad about him. He's on a huge contract. There's no way he's going to play that out. Honestly, I'd be shocked if I don't trade him at the deadline to a team that needs him because it's just realistic. They're going to trade him eventually, And we need the prospects. What good is having Nolan Arenado on the team if the whole team around him is just horrible? We really, really need some prospects. We can build a bright future if we trade this guy right. And our third basemen behind him aren't bad. I mean, Josh Fuentes is whatever, but Colton Welker is not bad. 22. He's got B potential. He's a 68 overall. Same thing with Aaron Shunk. 22, 66 B potential. So one of those guys have got to be decent. You would think. I'm thinking this guy Colton Welker is a little bit better. He looks a little bit more polished hitting stats wise already. They could do a job, and we'll get some pieces around them. I'm sure whoever we get from Nolan, we're going to get at least two top prospects that are going to help us tremendously. At least 2 players that are just going to be really, really worth it. And that third guy should be pretty decent as well. I mean, 99 overall, only 28 years old with plenty of team control. So we'll explore that when the time comes, though. Maybe in a couple episodes we'll trade Nolan. Who knows? We'll see. Trevor Story. This guy's a beast. I love Trevor Story, man. He's got 2 years left, so this year and next year. So maybe next year we may have to explore the option of getting rid of him or giving him that big money. But I don't know about that. If we're going to be in a rebuild for a little bit, it's just no point. Might as well trade him, get a ton of prospects for him too. He can go for a lot. He's a beast. He's a beast, Trevor Story. In the outfield, David Dahl. I love him too. He's got great stats. Only 26, 85. He's got a ton of team control left as well. He's got this year and 3 years of arbitration, so we got him for a while. Ramil Tapia, he's pretty good as well. He's going to be our everyday center fielder. He'll play against righties, actually. We got Ian Desmond, who I'm going to show in a second. But yeah, Tapia, decent. He'll play center against righties. Dahl will play left. And then we got Ian Desmond, who I'm sure Rockies fans love. Oh, let me go back there. Sorry about that. I'm sure Rockies fans love Ian Desmond. Give him a lot of money, and he shits the bed. He sucks. But, I mean, it is what it is. What can you do? Look at this. 2017, only played 95 games. Not great. Not for this money he's making. He's making 15 this year, 12 next year. We're just going to have to eat that contract or DFA him or something to get rid of him. He has decent stats against lefties, though, so he'll play a role for a little bit. In right field, we got Charlie Blackmon, and he's not leaving anytime soon. He's got, 4 years left? It's this one and 3 years after. 18 million, pretty high. But it's Charlie Blackmon. We'll keep him. And his hitting stats are still good. Look, 90 and 89 contact-wise. He's going to be one of those guys who hits a high average, 30 home runs in this simulation. So we're going to use him. He's going to be pretty good. So that does it for the roster. I already went ahead and made the rotation and lineups. At the rotation, we're going to go pretty much just overall-wise. Marquez, Gray, Freeland, Jeff Hoffman, and Senzatella. And then in the bullpen, just a bunch of heaving pile of shit in the bullpen pretty much. I mean, I don't know who I'm going to go. I guess it all depends on who's having a good season. Scott Oberg is going to be our closer. I'm sure he's going to be all right. Probably blow a lot of games. It's fine. 79 is not bad for the bullpen, but it's my best reliever by 8 points. It's pretty embarrassing. Whatever. That's fine. We're rebuilding anyway. Let's tank for whoever's out there. The lineups, let's do righties first. Look at this first 4, though. Scary first 4. Blackmon, Story, Nolan, and then David Dahl is your first 4 in the lineup. Then we got Daniel Murphy, Tapia, Brendan Rodgers, and catcher Dom Nunez, and then the pitcher spot. And then against lefties, got that same 3 going, Blackmon, Story, Nolan. And then Ian Desmond has got some good stats against lefties. Then David Dahl and Ryan McMahon plays first, and then Rodgers and Nunez again. So that'll be the lineup. Expect to see a lot of that. A lot of this front 3 doing a lot of damage. It's probably going to be the majority of our offense, Blackmon, Story, and Arenado. So we're looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to playing with Nolan before we get rid of him. So we'll see how that goes. That's the lineup in rotation. Just look at the other things real quick before we end this video. Let's look at the budget. Look how high that is, $173 million this year, because look at all these freaking high contracts, but we're getting rid of a lot of them come next season. We got Nolan Arenado, 32.5, obviously the big one there. Charlie Blackmon's going to stay at $18 million. Oh, by the way, we'll probably get rid of this one. Blackmon will stay, $18 million. Wade Davis will be gone, thank God. $17.3 million for a 66 overall. He'll be out of there. Ian Desmond, I mean, we got to eat that contract, but it's only 2 years. Trevor Story's making a lot, but he's worth it and might get traded as well. Daniel Murphy's gone after this year. Same thing with Jake McGee getting paid ridiculous amount. This dude, Brian Shaw, he's not even on the MLB squad right now. I'll probably call him up at some point because he's just making too much money to sit in AAA and do nothing. So he'll be up eventually, actually, because, yeah, it's just not worth it to have him sit there in AAA and not help the team out at all. We'll see who gets off to a hot start in the bullpen, who struggles. But look at this. That's 7 and a 9 next year to do absolutely nothing. We're going to have to cut a lot of salary. Then the rest is normal. I mean, it's fine. No complaints. But, man, a lot of high contracts for some shitty guys, especially in the bullpen. It's very disappointing. We're going to cut on that. We got, let's go over to see the coaches real quick. Bud Black, still the manager for 2 years, decent. I mean, B, and then the rest is just a bunch of C's. C, 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 and B, Freddie Becker. So the coaching staff needs a change too. Needs an overhaul. Bud Black might just be fired after this year, when we tank. It's time for a new look Colorado Rockies team. We got a new GM, which is us, and then they're going to have a new manager in here at some point. New prospects. Get rid of Nolan. We're going to have a new face of this franchise. So in the first episode, you guys will see us opening day. We'll play the Padres, and then we'll find 3 other games within those first 2 months. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys are excited for this Rockies franchise. The first episode, official episode with the gameplay, will be up shortly. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Remember, 15 likes, I'll get the next episode out even faster. Thanks, guys.